right. Before the game, like either right, are we going to do right before or right after with the player when she takes us through the photo?
We'll do it after. Yeah, let's do the photo after. Justin Roman. He's tall. He's tall. Very tall. You're going to look at the picture?
Yes.
Yes. Legs, don't figure out the legs. Like, I'm just going to run right now.
And now, fans, let's meet the starting lineup for your Indy 11. Starting at goal number 1, Williams. Number 7, Yosi. Number 19, Carlisle Mitchell. Number 21,
It is a soggy Saturday in central Indiana, but that's the joy of playing indoor soccer. Sunny and 70 inside Lucas Oil Stadium as Indy 11 and Nashville SC meet for the first time. Thanks for joining us for Indy 11 Soccer on My Indy TV. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. The roof is in charge of rain prevention. Let's talk about goal prevention. It has been key for each of these two teams this season. Let's start with a stopped penalty a week ago from Owain Von Williams.
Yeah, just an amazing individual play. You take a look at the conversion rate on penalty kicks at this level. That should have been a 1-1 draw. This save right here gets 2 points for Indy that are going to be valuable at some point in this season.
But if to get the full 3 points, you got to score at least one, and that fell on the left foot of Tyler Pasher last Saturday night.
By design, the 11 were pressing higher up the field. It paid its dividends. Justin Braun wins the ball, finds Pasher backside goal.
One of 2 goals scored by the Indy 11 this season. That equals what Nashville has allowed in 4 matches played this season. They have not allowed a goal, Brad, in the last 294 minutes.
Now, they've been phenomenal, and the thing is they still have room to grow. They're still very young as a unit, but they've got some veteran pieces in there, and that starts with Matt Pickens.
Pickens now 36 years of age, last year with Tampa Bay in this league. Before that, 3 years with Tampa Bay in the NASL, not to mention stops in Major League Soccer as well. Indy 11, Nashville SC. Starting lineups, opening kickoff comes your way next as you're watching Indy 11 soccer. Indy 11 Soccer is brought to you by Community Health, exceptional care simply delivered. Community Health Network. By Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. Just moments before kickoff of today's game between the Indy 11 and Nashville SC. It is time to meet our starting 11, presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Good news for the Indy 11. Nathan Lewis had to leave last week's match in North Carolina after 25 minutes dealing with a potential concussion. Able to clear protocol, back in the lineup today. And Brad Russin, who came on as a last-minute replacement late in the match after a Carl Ouimet red card, he gets the nod as Ouimet sits for this match. On the flip side now for Nashville SC, Justin Davis is a name we're very familiar with. Spent 7 years at Minnesota United, was in Major League Soccer last year. Really, he is a key defensive piece. We talked about Matt Pickens in the pregame. Justin Davis is a big part of their attack as well.
Yeah, and it's a unit that has been incredibly stingy. It's going to be interesting to see these two teams. You know, they're almost mirror images of each other in the way that they were built.
Mcinerney, the head coach of the Indy 11, previous the head coach of the Vancouver Whitecaps, spent 3 years coaching in South Korea, 2 wins and a loss so far, and 3 games as the man in charge of the Indy 11. And Gary Smith is the head coach of Nashville SC. We last saw him in Indianapolis coaching the Atlanta Silverbacks in 2015. Spent time in Major League Soccer, won an MLS Cup with the Colorado Rapids. Also coached Stevenage in the English Football League's League One. By the way, our match referee for today's contest, Rosendo Mendoza. Assistant referees are Corey Richardson and Jeffrey Swartzel. Youssef El Masoui is our 4th official for today's contest. 17,000 strong were in here 2 weeks ago for the match against FC Cincinnati. You won't see that level of crowd for today's Saturday matinee. But at the same time, we expect a good one here. This is the earliest ever kickoff start for the Indy 11. They played some 3 o'clock afternoon games last April and October. They've had some early contests on the road, but never a start this early. And this now their 5th season of soccer.
You got all sorts of crazy trivia.
Usually we save that for 3-0. I'm leading right off the jump with it for some reason
Put
today.
it right on the table.
Jack McInerney, who missed last week's match, was not given a card for a foul, but it was deemed after the match to be a reckless challenge. So he sat a week ago. He'll have his boot over the ball first. Clock's running. Jack's yet to touch it. Now here we go for Indy 11 soccer on My Indy TV. Combination of McInerney and Saad back together again. It worked very well in week number 1. One of the 2 road victories the Indy 11 already owned this season at the Richmond Kickers on March 24. Saad had limited minutes 2 weeks ago due to injury that McInerney sat last week. This is going to be a very potent duo for the Indy 11 going forward. Carlisle Mitchell plays this ball all the way across the pitch to Tyler Pasher. Both of the natives of Trinidad and Tobago on the field together for the Indy 11 today in Mitchell and Lewis. Speaking of Lewis, ball finds him just outside of the 18. Dynamic, a good way to describe him. Left foot sends it across, and Davis has to clear it just outside of the 18 where Brad Ring will direct it right back in. Both goals for the Indy 11 this season have been first half goals. Right before the halftime whistle in Richmond 3 weeks ago. And then in the 15th minute, the assist from Justin Braun, the goal by Tyler Pasher. And the Indy 11 made that lead hold up in miserable weather conditions in Cary, North Carolina 7 days ago.
In very different surface. You know, that was the biggest field in the NASL last year. So it changes the game in that respect. The weather changes the game. Now you're indoors.
Well, possession here in the early going has belonged to the Indy 11. Time now for our keys of this match. They are presented by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Man down, man up. Explain.
Yeah, that's an old Marine saying. You know, this team was built for depth, and you've got a couple guys down in the back line, so you've got to have some players step up. And today's the day that you're going to need that on the back line. Then the second key is to execute in the final third. You saw that ball by Nathan Lewis that came across. This is a very stingy back line. You're going to have chances, but you've got to elevate your focus. You got to execute in that moment and put those away. For Nashville, they got to get into an offensive rhythm. Sometimes when your back line and your goalkeeper are playing so solid, you know you're not going to give up much. That sometimes, you know, you can take your foot off the gas a little bit up front. They're going to have chances as well. They have to execute. And the last thing is the road focus. Coach Smith talks about how they really need to consciously have an elevated level of focus when they're on the road because of the different kind of conditions. They've been on the road 3 times already. They've played on 3 different surfaces. They were concerned about it. They were able to get in yesterday and get some touches on here, but it's going to take a little while for them to find that rhythm.
This Nashville club has scored 3 times on the season. 2 in last week's victory. They didn't score a goal until week number 3. They have been outstanding at not allowing goals, as referenced in the pre-match conversation.
So you can see right out of the gate the confidence that the back line has in Nathan Lewis and in his pace. Every time they get a little look in a little window, they are looking to hit that pocket in front of him.
Good work by Mitchell. Mitchell exited the game against North Carolina in the 86th minute, but fully healthy and ready to go for today's match. We'll get the injury report to you in a matter of moments. Brad Russin already becoming the 4th different center back to play in a match for the Indy 11 this season here in week number 4 of the season. And a throw-in coming from next to the corner flag here for Nashville SC. There you see Brad. Played his college soccer at UCLA, but is originally from Northwest Indiana. Crown Point is his hometown. So what a thrill for him to be playing here in Indianapolis.
And think about that pickup. You know, you look at what you talked about. You're on your 4th center back right now, and this is a 10-year vet.
Brad played with Miami FC each of the last 2 years, but did not play much last year due to a knee injury. One of the first signees in the offseason for the Indy 11. He and Kevin Venegas were amongst those first 4 signees, and Venegas appears on our Community Health Injury Report, presented by Community Health Network Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. Reiner Ferreira, who injured his ankle 2 weeks ago here against FC Cincinnati. Venegas, who has not played this season due to a thigh injury. And Eugene Starikov will miss his 2nd consecutive match because of a thigh injury as well. The Indy 11 are off next weekend, and the idea is, not sure on Ferreira, but I think especially on Starikov and Venegas, there's a lot of confidence that they will be able to play in 2 weeks in Charlotte.
Yeah, that extra rest should heal that up. You know, when you take a look at Ferreira's ankle, the way it was stepped on as he was rolling it, that's going to be a little bit longer.
Nice little give and go here between a Nashville player and Justin Davis. Davis, a part of the North American Soccer League's best 11, 3 straight years between 2014 and 2016. And much like Kevin Venegas for the Indy 11, made the jump in Minnesota to Major League Soccer last year, did not find the field that often, and both guys now in USL trying to work their way back to MLS.
One of the things that it speaks so well about these guys is the character both on the field and in the community, because when Minnesota made that jump to MLS, they got 3+ years, I think 5 with Venegas, and these are the guys that they say, hey, look, we want you to make that leap with us.
Well, as we know from our time in the same league, a quality organization in Minnesota. Indy 11 trying to be the same in Nashville in their relative infancy. Take a lot of good steps when you bring in a guy like Gary Smith, when you sign players like Matt Pickens and Kosuke Kimura, who are both longtime MLS veterans or NASL veterans. And those 2 players that I mentioned, Kimura not in the starting lineup today, they are both player assistant coaches for this young Nashville franchise.
Yeah, these teams were built, and there's so much similarity between the 2. You've got 2 coaches that have coached at every pro level here in the U.S. They built with an intentional thought on identity of possession-based ability, as well as guys that can mix it up and play hard-nosed soccer, but also good character, good community guys.
And Lewis goes to the turf. Got an elbow in the midsection. Draws the foul from the flag, goes up from the assistant referee. And a dangerous spot for a free kick here. The foul whistle against the aforementioned Davis of Nashville.
And you look, I mean, you've seen Lewis primarily right now with the green light to go 1v1 against his defender, space behind that defender. His first touch is looking to get in behind.
You have wings today in Davis and Pasher that have speed to burn, and they are given the freedom from those behind them in Iose and Ring to go out and go after it, knowing they've got their backs covered.
And you look at Pasher, that you saw it last week with the move to the midfield. His defensive responsibilities are still there, but it's not end line to end line.
Both Russin and Mitchell move up from center back to provide taller targets for Soony Saad. Russin, the tallest Indy 11 player on the pitch. Saad serves it in. Good looking ball, didn't make much in the way of contact. Ring will settle for the Indy 11. He'll recycle all the way back to Iose. First chance for Iose to play as a member of the Indy 11. And his cross overcooked goal kick coming for Matt Pickens in Nashville SC.
Yeah, you saw his first touch. He was getting on his horse. He was going. You saw that so much from him with the Cosmos, is that those outside backs for the Cosmos, as soon as they had a little bit of a window, they were attacking.
Usl spent 5 years with the New York Cosmos. They restarted their franchise in the fall of 2013. He was there from day number 1. He, Juan Gary, Eugene Starikoff, the trio of players brought over from the Cosmos to the Indy 11 this season. Usl did not play because of an injury the first 2 weeks. He went the full 90 in his season debut last week in North Carolina. This is Nico Mater, rookie from both Germany and Indiana Wesleyan. An absolute find by the Indy 11 stat. Here comes the speed of Pasher. Giving Pickens something to think about on that clearance that goes 3/4 of the length of the field.
And you look, Pickens is no stranger to Pasher, not just from the USL last year, but video this year, and certainly the way that Tyler has made an impact already in this season getting forward. When that ball was played back to him and he saw Pasher on his horse, Pickens is a veteran. I'll just change field position about 80 yards, and then we'll sort it out.
Pickens, winner of an Open Cup with the Chicago Fire, winner of an MLS Cup in his days with the Colorado Rapids in 2010. Briefly spent time in English football with Queens Park Rangers. In his first year in Nashville, in fact, he was their first signee in the fall after spending the last 4 seasons with the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Speaks to the relationship and the trust that Coach Smith has in him, that they've worked together at other stops, especially with the Rapids with the MLS Cup, that he says, this is the guy. This is the one that we're going to put in our back line to anchor things.
Foul given. And again, an opportunity here from a set piece for Nashville SC. Two-man wall being shown by Indy in Pasher and Suni Saad. Davis looks like he'll be directing traffic for Nashville. Akinyode, one of the targets going forward. Sent outside the 18 quickly by Jack Mcinerney. Bit of a giveaway in the midfield. And Saad the flick, but couldn't connect with Pasher down the left side. Mcinerney has one of the Indy 11 goals this season. Pasher has the other. A similar story for Nashville. No player has more than 1 goal this year. For whatever reason, seemingly the league leaders in terms of goal scoring all seem to be in the Western Conference. These two conferences literally do not play each other during the year, only in the championship match. And so you almost kind of treat them to some degree as different leagues. And from a stat standpoint, that difference is even more stark looking at results from 3, 4, and 5 matches in.
Yeah, and then, the tough part is not seeing these teams. You don't know, is this because the defense is a bit porous, or they just have got some electric guys up top?
By the way, this portion of the match is brought to us by Community Health Sports Medicine, keeping athletes at the top of their game. Visit ecommunity.com/sports. And Ring could not keep it in the park. And Brad Ring, we have seen him now. This is his 98th career appearance with the Indy 11, only behind his former teammate in Don Smart, who has 101 appearances in an Indy 11 uniform. Ring has played more of a midfield role. Good leave by Mcinerney. Now Lewis trying to win the foot race with Davis. Great recovery by Davis. Even though he went to the turf, it will be a throw-in coming, but it shows you the caliber of Davis.
Oh, impressive pace. I mean, he's arguably up against one of the fastest players in the league, and he's staying with him, catching him from behind step by step.
The speed on display by Lewis. How about the speed of thought by Mcinerney? Literally to turn that ball with his torso and send him flying. This one heading up our general direction, halfway up the stands here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Davis from Novi, Michigan, 29 years of age. Spent virtually his entire pro career with Minnesota before signing with Nashville this offseason. Another former teammate of his on the Indy 11 roster, Ben Spees, one of the subs available for selection today. And that'll be a foul whistle. And against Libo Moloto. This Nashville team, almost as if there were an expansion draft. There's not, but when you look at their roster, 80 to 90% of these guys played in this league a year ago with a different team.
And you go down both rosters and you see so much MLS experience. You see so many connections to their head coach at different stops that it almost is a veteran team, even though both of these teams are in their first season in the USL.
Lewis steers it in. Not the ball maybe he was hoping for. Maloto now trying to spring the run down the left side. Mitchell looking to cover. He didn't have to do a thing as he and Wynn, neither could get to the ball in time. Wynn scored his first professional goal last week for Nashville SC. Youngster out of the University of North Carolina. Now Iose. Giveaway. Good recovery in the midfield by both Matern and Steinberger. And Mitchell calmly nods the ball back to Owain Von Williams. It has been an opening 15 minutes without, frankly, much to do for Owain Von Williams. Stepped up big, his number was called. Look at this, perfectly timed. It's Sunni Saad. Saad lines him up. Saad back of the net. It's a first home goal for the Indy 11 this season, and a first goal of the year for Sunni Saad.
What a ball. And he read it perfectly. He didn't break stride. He knew it was going to clear the back line, and he just got on his horse and knew he had the opportunity.
There have been some artists on deep balls in this building before. Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck. Iose matched him step for step with that pass. An assist from the back line to give Indy 11 a one-goal lead. And the 15th minute continues to be good for the Indy 11 for a second week in a row. That's when they put their first tally on the board.
Incredible ball. I mean, that's two players, both seeing that the back line was high, delivering that ball, and Sunni Saad knowing that it was going to get through. I think, Doyle probably should have, instead of jumping and trying to play that ball, gotten back into space.
So Sunni Saad scores the third Indy 11 goal of the season, and he now will forever have the mark of scoring the first Indy 11 goal in this building. That belongs to him. For Nashville, it is the first goal they have allowed since the opening match of the season, when they were beaten by the defending league champs Louisville City FC 2-0 back on March 17th. The Indy 11, their first three results of this season have been 1-0. That's the first time in club history they've ever played back-to-back 1-0 matches, let alone 3 in a row. Opportunity inside the 18 here.
Turn.
Well done. Great recovery by Russin. It will be the first corner of the match for Nashville SC, but that was set to be something special for Nashville.
That was lining up. I don't know if you saw Mensah's goal last year. That was lining up almost the exact same way, with the defender draped all over him, and he was just able to get a clever little touch on it and put that final nail in the coffin last week for Nashville.
Davis will take the corner. Doesn't exactly have a lot of room to work with in that corner. From around the trash can. Ball sent in. Akinyode heads it down, but did not keep it on frame. He thought it was deflected. Our referee says no. Goal kick coming. We saw Bolo Akinyode a year ago playing for North Carolina FC. Played his collegiate soccer at Seton Hall at Akinyode. So he may have played in Indianapolis against Butler during his collegiate days as well. Pressure being applied by Nashville. Seemingly and now a foul whistle. Bit of a late whistle, but seemingly the right one. But you can tell that sense of urgency kicked in immediately once the Indy 11 found the back of the net.
Right.
Opportunity here. Pressure being applied again by the Indy 11 and Sunni Saad. The wind at his sails, almost a giveaway. Now some room to breathe for Nashville SC. This reminder, fans, you can catch all things Indy 11 on Soccer Saturday on 107.5 FM and 1070 The Fan. This week on the show, head coach Mcinerney, goalkeeper O-line Fawn Williams, goal scorer from last week in Tyler Pasher, and Peter Evans. You'll see him up on top of the capo stand in today's match, and he's also the unofficial director of TIFO for the Brickyard Battalion as well. It's all available for you on the podcast page when you log on now at 1070thefan.com. Sunni Saad with the Indy 11 goal. Had spent 5 of the last 7 years either with Sporting KC or with the Swope Park Rangers. He and his forward mate, if you will, and Jack Mcinerney, they have known each other since their teenage years. They played U17 national team soccer together. They are separated in age by 13 days.
That's crazy. And between them, they've almost got 2 decades of pro experience.
The job that was done in terms of roster construction for this group, given the time frame they had to work with, trying to sign players really from mid-January on to start the season March 24th, has just been fantastic. Again, Nashville is an expansion side, but Indy 11 bringing just 3 players back from last year, almost in a similar boat in their first year in this league, and frankly had less time to work with in terms of roster construction than did this Nashville club or any other club in the USL. You see one of those guys that was a great acquisition, and like Sunni Saad, played for the Swope Park Rangers last year. And Tyler Pasher, the native of Canada. Good idea on the ball, but no Indy 11 player close. And Pickens with time to collect his thoughts before he restarts in the distribution. By the way, the Swope Park Rangers last year were the Western Conference champions. They were defeated at Louisville City FC in the USL Cup match in mid-November. We will see Louisville City FC for the first time here in 3 weeks. And that, like today's game, is a noon start Saturday, May 5th. That's the same day as the mini marathon. So run your 13 miles and come hang out with us after you finish. Pasher again providing pressure. Good job to shepherd that one across the end line by Bradley Bourgeois.
That was well defended. You know, I think that when you're able to put your body between Pasher and space, that's a good thing.
And that is an errant clearance. This is a bit of a narrow field to fit inside the confines here of Lucas Oil. The dimensions are 110 yards by 70 yards. But unfortunately for the veteran Pickens, you can't blame the wind when you're indoors. That's all just kind of a miscue on lining it up. Mitchell rifles it back towards the other end of the pitch. Lewis, wonderful lead for Mcinerney. Mcinerney's got options to his left. Plays it across and steered out for a corner. Pasher was there, and the defender could not take the chance.
Clever ball. You have Davis that's pressing the ball, and so you're thinking, hey, it might be a good early ball. You can bend in behind the back line, but their center backs tucked in and took that away. So to lift it backside and give Pasher an opportunity back post is a really clever ball.
Now Pasher will back up and play the back line here as both Russin and Mitchell head forward on the set piece opportunity. It is Saad who will send it in to Pasher. Ball headed. And it will again be a corner kick coming to the opposite side for the Indy 11. You've got very talented forwards on this team, but especially with Justin Braun coming off the bench, you don't have the tallest forwards. So these center backs in Mitchell and Russin in this case, or Wabmet if he were in the lineup, those guys are true targets on set pieces for this team. Saad. Pasher. One touch. The second touch a bit strong. This segment of the match is brought to us by the Room Place. Get it all at the Room Place.
Hey, one thing that you like in Sunni Saad's game, his ability to serve, whether it's in the flow of the match or on restarts, every ball he hits gives you a chance.
So midway through half number one, Indy 11 trailed for the vast majority of their match against FC Cincinnati. That goal from Emery Welshman 2 weeks ago coming in neighborhood of the 25th minute. There have been 4 goals scored in Indy 11 matches this season. They have all come in the first half of those matches. And Davis going for a walkabout. Here's Nico Mater. Interviewed him on Soccer Saturday last week. Usl looking for the long distance ball again. Mcinerney a target.
Well, that one nearly got through as well.
Now, Bourgeois was the only defender in the neighborhood. And that'll be a foul against the Butler grad and Zack Steinberger. Let's finish the thought on Nico Mater. He is a rookie in the States. He played in the 3rd and 4th levels of the Bundesliga, but was playing college soccer at Indiana Wesleyan. Was invited to come work out with the team, really just to kind of be an extra kind of training camp body, for lack of a better term. And after a couple of days was offered a tryout, a contract with the team, and he started now in all 4 matches.
What a great story.
And that foul whistled against Bolo Akinyode.
And it's looking a bit physical. Pasher came in hard on a couple. Akinyode here comes in hard on a couple. And you know, the pace of the game went from a really possession, let's kind of feel out where the soft spots are on the other team, to now a little bit more high pressure, fast paced, physical match.
That appeared to be more of an inadvertent just kind of finger that got towards the eyes of Sunni Saad. Restart coming up here for the Indy 11. And we do have a booking, it appears, for the first time in this match. Didn't see the card being shown, but I can see the name going on it from our match referee and Rosendo Mendoza. So it appears, I'm not sure if it was Akinyode or another player for dissent. Either way, a card has been shown here in minute number 27. Akinyode able to play this back to fellow defender and Liam Doyle. First time we've called Doyle's name today. Fan Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit www.selectsportamerica.com. Receive free shipping on orders over $50. The captain and Brad Ring to restart. The last original member of the Indy 11 on the roster. And Russin, just his 2nd match of the season. And Carl Lemaitre is joining us, sitting out because of a late red card after the penalty was stopped a week ago. And Reiner Ferreira is missing his 2nd consecutive match due to injury. And Fawn Williams with a bit of a shank.
Yeah, not under pressure. Probably, you know, could have used the touch there to settle it.
Literally, I think that's Fawn Williams' 3rd touch of the match. He has only had to save 6 shots this season in now 3+ matches.
What a serve.
Might have had to save a 7th had not Mitchell knocked it away. This is Wynn, the goal scorer, or one of the 2 goal scorers rather, from a week ago. We're used to seeing Brad Ring in that midfield role. And he is picked up the right back position for the Indy 11. Good looking ball here. The settle. And the volley was deflected. There was a touch from an 11 player, so corner kick coming, second of the match for Nashville SC. Mcinerney thought that ball was out of play. Immediately the assistant referee said no, kept it in the field of play. Eight inside the box, make it 7 for Nashville. Looking back post, and Fawn Williams. That's the type of first save you want to make in a match right there.
Yeah, get yourself settled a little bit. And that was a ball, too, that I thought if it was headed back across the box, Nashville had 2 or 3 guys spread throughout the 6 that might have had an opportunity to be a bit more dangerous.
Fans, you can show your Indy 11 pride and get your exclusive Indiana Members Credit Union Indy 11 debit card at any Indiana Members Credit Union branch or online at imcu.com today. Counter opportunity here. Steinberger leading the charge. It's Lewis. Good looking cross.
What a serve.
Mcinerney couldn't time it. I think Mcinerney wasn't sure until the ball got to him. Am I using my boot or my head on that one?
Right.
We saw Lewis kind of take Steinberger's spot in the lineup last week, and then when he had to exit early, Steinberger came right back in. Foul coming up against Tyler Pasher. We'll make sure that Bourgeois is okay. To finish the thought on both Lewis and Steinberger, so they've both kind of taken that right wing slot, so to speak, until today. Now you see them both on the field together. Your thoughts about that potential combination?
You take a look at that combination, how that built. You know, Zack's got the ability to break down the individual pressure that he has in the middle of the field and then draw that next wave of pressure. And when he can do that, that frees up pockets of space for Nathan to use his speed.
Captain's armband for Nashville SC goes to Michael Reed today. 30-year-old from Albuquerque, New Mexico. Spent last season with San Antonio FC. That ball was ruled not to have touched anybody. But you can kind of see the shorter dimensions of this pitch, not to mention there's not going to be any wind that slows the ball down. You're seeing goal kicks going 75 and 80 yards in here.
And it's a fast field, too. So once it does hit, it doesn't have that typical slowing effect that longer turf, new turf has.
This portion of the match brought to us by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11.
There's 2 little battles that are going on out here where Nashville is doing a great job of finding their target's feet from the middle of the field. And then you take a look at Indy 11's midfielders are doing a great job of applying back pressure. The defender's just holding it up, and the back pressure's coming from the midfield. And then they've got the double team on the ball and are winning possession there. So something you got to stay in tune with, because the ball is being delivered so perfectly to the feet of Nashville's target that if you don't have that back pressure, you're putting yourself in a dangerous 1v1.
Good job of drawing the foul by the Indy 11. Chance to throw some numbers forward. Mcinerney goes to the turf to earn the reset opportunity for Indy. Foul goes against Liam Doyle. Like we've mentioned for a couple of Indy 11 players, Doyle last year as well played for the Swope Park Rangers. From England, from the Isle of Man. And at 6'4" and 200 pounds, that is a tank of a center back.
It's an island of man. I like what Indy's doing. They're clumping up some players at the top of the 18 here, and that's allowing for Lewis to have a 1v1 if they do have anything that sneaks through to the backside.
This is the first of 3 consecutive road matches for Nashville SC. Like Indy 11, they are off next week, and they don't play for 10 days after this one. Going for goal, and how about that strike? with the football markings, we can tell you from 35 yards out.
Wow.
2-0 Indy 11. Suni Saad has a brace in his second Indy 11 home match.
That's an unreal hit. There was little reaction from Nashville to get anything near and around that ball.
Look at the big swerve.
Did you see that move?
Look at the swerve
Whoa.
on that ball. I'm not sure Pickens could have done anything differently because he started to move to his right. As he did that, the ball went the other direction.
What a hit.
So Suni Saad becomes the first Indy 11 player with multiple goals this season. First Indy 11 player with multiple goals in a match this season. Still has plenty of time for the hat trick, does Suni. But this is a Nashville team that went 300 minutes without allowing a goal. They've given up 2 in the last 20 minutes. And in talking with Tyler Pasher this week, he said, hey, this is going to happen. We're gelling.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing multiple goals from us in the very near future. I guess he was talking about today. Do give Mcinerney assist for literally placing his boot on the ball and leaving it for side. A rare point, we don't even have to move for Jack Mcinerney. So first time this year that the Indy 11 have scored 2 goals in a match. Suni Saad gets the first brace in the history of Lucas Oil Stadium. A lot of firsts this year with this group. And somebody asked us before the broadcast, Brad, you know, everything pointed to 1-0, 0-0. And we said, hey, watch it be like 4-3. Indy 11 doing their part. Yeah,
You've got 2 teams that are just rock solid on the back and just haven't given many opportunities, let alone given many goals. That, and on paper, it scripts out a completely different way than the story that's being told here.
Talent up and down this Indy 11 roster. You felt it was just a matter of time before it started to connect. And we say that, and they're off to their best start in franchise history. 6 points through 3 games for the Indy 11. The previous high had been 5 in both the 2015 and 2016 season. Fawn Williams lines it up.
Read. Good ball, good read.
Fans, you can have your say in who becomes the USL Player of the Month for March and which players earn USL Goal of the Month and Save of the Month awards. Cast your vote this weekend. Log on to USLsoccer.com. Owain Fawn Williams did have the Save of the Week for the Indy 11 with the penalty shot stopped 7 days ago against North Carolina. Alan Wynn for Nashville was one of the candidates for Goal of the Week a week ago.
He was talking to Owain about that penalty kick. There's different things that goalkeepers have. It's either you're going to guess or you've read something in the game. And he said he read the game. He just felt it was going in that direction. So, wow.
And that's going to be a card on Doyle as Lewis goes to the turf. So the second card shown against Nashville SC in this first half. Liam Doyle picks it up, but again, that's what we call a professional foul, because if he doesn't make that hip check and Lewis still dealing with it on the turf, that's another opportunity on goal for the Indy 11.
That's one. It's amazing that he was able to get that touch because he was gone through that. Doyle looked like he had the right position, you know, to funnel him into the center where he had cover, and Nathan Lewis said, I'm going this way. But you know, you're at the 35. This is not this is not out of range. So you talk about going back to the penalty kick. You know, Owain is he said he picked up something, nothing specific. He just felt it was going to his right. So you know it's going there, but you still have to make the save. And he said, and I got my hand, I said, you know, when the ball left his foot and you knew you were going that direction, did you know you had it? And he said no. And he said even though he made good contact, it's one of those ones where you feel like the ball's spinning. He knew the ball was going up in the air. That's why he popped up so quick, because he didn't know if it was going to be straight up, hit the ground and spin in, or just off to the side.
Brian Gerlach, who is the head athletic trainer for the Indy 11, out to check on Nathan Lewis, and he gave the thumbs up to Mcinerney. He's fine, leave him in the match. Again, he had to leave, did Lewis, in the 25th minute because of an inadvertent elbow to his head last week in North Carolina. Lewis appears to be fine. Indy 11 looking for some more set-piece magic here. The long ball and then the long-range shot have worked out very well for the Indy 11 so far. It's Saad. Probably didn't hit that the way he wanted to.
Now, you look at the line of it. The line was the right ball. Just, was executed where it couldn't beat that first defender.
By the way, this portion of the match presented by Turkish Airlines. Widen your world. Indy 11 hope to widen their lead. Already staked to their largest lead of the season at 2-0. And the Indy 11 now have gone 180 minutes plus without allowing a goal. Last one coming here in the first half is Mcinerney. Whistled for the too aggressive play against Bolo Akinyode. And he will get a conversation from our match referee about said challenge. This portion of the match is also brought to us by the Indiana Economic Development Corporation. Take your business to the next level in a state that works. Well, everything has worked so far for the Indy 11.
That's maybe the third time that the ball's gotten caught underneath Akinyode, and you wonder if he's just struggling to adjust to this surface.
Great work by Ring. Good help back by Lewis. And the carom goes the way of the Indy 11 as it trickles to a wide Fawn Williams. Well, Nashville SC plays in a couple of different stadiums in Nashville. First, Tennessee Park, which is the home of the Nashville Sounds, and Nissan Stadium, which is the home of the Tennessee Titans, but both those are grass surfaces. So playing on turf is something that players are used to at this level in the States. You see it in Major League Soccer, of course, throughout college and high school soccer too. But as far as their home base is concerned, two different stadiums they play in, both of them grass facilities. Approaching the 42nd minute. Our final 5 minutes plus stoppage time of the first half, brought to us by your Central Indiana Honda dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. And Mitchell has seemingly been the intended target of those clearances. He's picked off a couple of them so far. Mitchell and Lewis, the combination from Trinidad and Tobago that this club added during the month of February. Now some space to operate here for Nashville. Good looking ball in. Now Wynn. Again, Ring and Lewis, good combination work. Davis sends it in. Iose steers it clear, but not out of danger. Good looking turn with the left foot.
Oh. What a hit.
Off the woodwork. That is the team captain in Michael Reed looking for his first goal of the season.
What a hit. And he set it up that he was going right. I think it was Pasher bit on it. He had a great turn, just enough to get a small look at the goal. I'll tell you what, that was a momentum changer heading into the half.
The woodwork took one away from the Indy 11 here 2 weeks ago. They give one back, so to speak, on that one.
It is. It's all about balance. It's all about balance.
Well, to that point, Indy 11 had a penalty save 2 weeks ago. They got one back last week. And Iose told to work his way a little bit closer to the corner flag. This reminder, fans, you can now watch us on ESPN Plus. It's the new streaming home of the USL in the United States. Watch all the action throughout the 2018 regular season and the US Cup playoffs. And that starts, well, right now. Visit USLsoccer.com for more details. This is the first kind of extended opportunities we have seen for Nashville in this first half. Possession and opportunities both have been heavily favored for the Indy 11. The bounce is going their way too. Mcinerney draws the whistle. And one thing we have learned about Jack, he is not shy about contact going either direction. Began his professional soccer career playing with the Philadelphia Union as a 17-year-old in 2010.
Unreal.
Was with the LA Galaxy last year, did not get much of an opportunity, and that is why he is here to play on an every match basis. Would assume you're looking at between 2 and 3 minutes of stoppage time here at the end of half number 1. Once again, a throw in coming. Many years ago, the Indy 11 had a player named Jaime Frias. And the one thing he knew Jaime was going to do from his left back spot, diagonal ball all the way to the other end of the pitch. Usl might be matching him in terms of his aggression, just letting it fly and let your speed go chase it.
Oh my goodness, and it is driven.
We're now being told 2 minutes of additional time. Opportunity here by Wynn. Wynn tried to play it through Mitchell. Got a boot in the way.
It's well played. If you're Indy, you just can't let anything happen here that kind of takes the steam out of your sails.
And play back across, and there it is, back of the net goal for Nashville SC. They've gotten one back.
And gives Nashville energy going into the locker room.
You felt that developing over the last 4 or 5 minutes. Both goals the Indy 11 have allowed this season have come here at Usl Stadium. Nashville is on the board. Great combination play by the visitors. And there to poke it home is Ropapa Mensah.
It's ridiculous. He's last year averaged a goal every 200 minutes, and this is his first start. He's been coming off the bench, and he's ahead of that pace, which is mind-boggling.
Mensah had appeared as a sub in each of the opening 4 matches for Nashville SC this season. He scored their game-clinching goal last week in stoppage time.
It was ridiculous. He shouldn't have even gotten a touch to that ball. There was a defender just draped all over him.
A 2-0 victory against the Charlotte Independents. Foul called against Nathan Lewis. Fans, you can hear exclusive stories directly from the USL's players and USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch with written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. Again, USLsoccer.com. So I think if you tell Mcinerney, hey, you've got a goal lead at halftime, he'd be happy about it. And you'd say the first 40 minutes of this match belong to the Indy 11. But a spark in the final 5 minutes have brought Nashville right back into it.
It changes everything. It changes the energy level of both teams. Changes the halftime conversations. Changes the adjustments.
Good looking turn here. The volley.
Wow.
Not on frame. But as you can see with the turf, with the size of the pitch, opportunities present themselves quickly.
So similar to Indy's first goal opportunity there. A ball that just drops in behind the last defender.
So 2-1. It is going to halftime. We're about to have our Turkish Airlines halftime interview. Turkish Airlines, the official international airline of Indy 11 soccer. Turkish Airlines, widen your world. Let's get to Mcinerney quickly. Martin, all right, clearly the first 40 minutes I thought were fantastic. Last 5 minutes, probably not what you wanted to see. Overall, your thoughts on your team's first half performance?
Yeah, really good half. A little bit of a letdown in the last couple of minutes, but we just got to get back to doing what we were doing before. We were playing very well, very good attacking, good possession, solid defending. I think with 2-0 with a couple minutes to go at half-time, we lost a little bit of focus, but now once I get back in the locker room, I'll make sure that doesn't happen again.
Just your thoughts about the brace already for Sunni Saad in this match?
Yeah, really good goals, and like I say, generally our play's been very good. That game is almost over, but if we get in there at half-time and make sure we get the adjustments right, I thought in midfield we were starting to slack, and it cost us.
Martin, we'll talk to you after the match. Thank you.
Okay.
Martin Rennick, head coach of the Indy 11, joining us on his way in to halftime. We come back. Our halftime show begins from Lucas Oil Stadium. The show has been worth the price of admission so far. A pair of goals for Sunni Saad, one for Nashville from Ropapa Mensah. The Indy 11 lead it 2-1. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, fans been treated to an explosive first half of Indy 11 soccer. Their first 3 games of the season 1-0. As you can see, not the case in half number 1. 2-1, the home team up over Nashville SC. Time now for a look around the USL, and we do that with a conversation with the president of the league, Jake Edwards.
Hi, we're being joined today by Jake Edwards, president of the USL. Just getting ready to kick off an exciting 2018 season. Jake, thank you very much for joining us today.
My pleasure.
So, Jake, the expansion this year has brought a large group of new owners to the USL to complement this already very strong base of ownership that we've seen that's really led to the success of the league. Talk about the Usl Ownership Group and what these new folks are bringing.
Many of our owners, I'd say the vast majority of our owners now, have owned and operated sports organizations in multiple different leagues. They bring with them a real understanding of the economics of sport, what's required in terms of an investment level in the facilities, in the community, in all the different programs that our teams run. So for me, it's a privilege to get to work with all of these very experienced businessmen and women on a daily basis, and I'm just constantly thrilled by the commitment and investment they have into their local communities and ultimately into our sport. The new owners that are joining our league now are coming in every year with bigger ambitions. For us, we continue to drive value from a business point of view. The model continues to attract more and more sophisticated owners into the league, and that's something that we believe will have such a positive impact on the future of this league and the new initiatives that we want to embark upon.
Last year we surpassed 2 million in attendance. Talk about what your expectations are for this season, and in terms of attendance at live games and just overall awareness of the league.
Yeah, our fans are the lifeblood of this league, as they are for every league. We've seen the support for our clubs grow exponentially. We're already significantly ahead of where we were this time last year on average per club for season tickets. I think it speaks to the excitement. It speaks to what's happening in the local communities. It speaks to all of the things we're trying to do, building new stadiums, creating more exciting, authentic environments, attracting better players, having a more competitive and compelling league. I think it's, at least for the league office here, a substantial investment in content production and infrastructure around the broadcast, around the digital and social. And so we take great pride in growing that area of the business and engaging with the fans from a team point of view and a league point of view.
Again, back at Lucas Oil Stadium, Greg Rakestraw, Brad Honner with you here on My Indy TV. Suni Saad, the offensive star for the Indy 11 so far. Ropapa Mensah able to get one back for Nashville in the late stages of half number one. Still a one-goal lead for the home side here at Lucas Oil Stadium. Upcoming schedule now for the Indy 11. As we mentioned earlier, they are off until 2 weeks from today, when they visit the Charlotte Independents for the first time. Then twice in a span of 4 days, they'll be here at Lucas Oil Stadium against their biggest rivals, their closest geographic rivals. It's the last home game against FC Cincinnati this season on Wednesday, May 2nd. And again, note the early noon start against Louisville City FC. There are so many new names and faces for the Indy 11 this year. This is at least one club they have some history with, having played Lou City in the Open Cup in both 2015 and 2016.
That's a tough back-to-back there. You've got two of the premier franchises on in the Eastern Conference. The benefit is it's at home.
Of note, the Bethlehem Steel game here on May 19th goes back to an evening start, and that's not a typo. It's an 8 o'clock start. It's a late start that night. After that, every Indy 11 home game, regardless of the date, will be a 7 o'clock kickoff once we get through the month of May. Time to look around the United Soccer League today and our out-of-town scoreboard, which was presented by Crown Plaza Indianapolis downtown. Let them assist you with your next meeting or event. This is the only game going in the league right now. Just one other afternoon game. The New York Red Bulls will take on the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Other games of note, and again, let's focus especially on those in the Eastern Conference. North Carolina derby between Charlotte and North Carolina FC. Pittsburgh Riverhounds and Ottawa Fury FC at 7. And the defending league champs, Louisville City FC against the Richmond Kickers. That game from Slugger Field is at 7:30 this evening. More of our halftime show comes your way in a matter of moments. Indy 11 looking to secure their first ever win in their new home at Lucas Oil Stadium. They lead Nashville 2-1. In the 3 previous Indy 11 matches, 3 goals had been scored. In the first half, 3 goals were scored. 2 of them belong to the home team. The Indy 11 leading at halftime by a score of 2-1. Suni Saad, we have seen the spark he had provided the first 3 games of the season. We had not seen him find to the back of the net. He did that twice in the span of 20 minutes.
He just come in buckets.
And Iose on point on a pass 40 yards in the making.
Oh, that's just an unreal ball that was served. And, you know, Doyle should have just been backing up on that.
And even though there was an assist for Jack Mcinerney, that was all on Suni Saad. But to Nashville's credit, they didn't stop playing down 2 goals. They get 1 back before halftime.
What a ball. What a ball. Just a simple touch, breakdown in the back line. But what an emotional change that makes both locker rooms.
So let's kind of go inside of the locker room. Let's start with the visitors from Nashville. If you're Gary Smith, what was your message to your guys at halftime?
You're excited. You changed your whole conversation, your whole demeanor there in the last 2 minutes of that first half. You're playing on that goal. You're playing on the energy that you went into the locker room with, telling them that it's there. The opportunities were starting to come. So you're not trying to convince your guys that you're in this game. They feel it. So you're just kind of pressing those buttons, keeping that energy and momentum high.
Flip side, Mcinerney, what was his message to the Indy 11 during the halftime break?
He said it before he was going in. It's attention to detail. That was a breakdown there, and sometimes that happens in a 2-goal lead. You know, and that next goal is so critical because it changes the game. But it is those moments where you could just blink and just kind of take your eyes off of things for a bit, and maybe just a little bit of a different angle and approach when you're pressing the ball, or not be tracking your runner quite as strongly as you did in the first 40 minutes. So, you know, for Coach Rennie, I think it's, hey, this is what got us the 2-0 lead. Stay focused, attention to detail, be disciplined, and it's going to fall your way.
Second match the Indy 11 have played here in their brand new home at Lucas Oil Stadium. You can get tickets for upcoming matches. Again, after today, the team not home here again until May the 2nd. Indy11.com, the website for more information. A quick look at stats from half number 1. How about the Indy 11 connecting on both shots on target during the first half? And as we talked about, possession was in favor of the Indy 11 significantly over the course of the half. Really, that kind of tilted only in the last 4 or 5 minutes for Nashville SC. And we said this numerous times throughout the half as well, Brad. Neither team shy about a physical challenge. 16 fouls in the opening 45 minutes.
Yeah, and when you look at it too, I think that the play of Nathan Lewis is creating a little bit of that, because the only option you're left with once he does get that ball into space and he's got is to give him a foul 30-35 yards out, because otherwise you're letting him walk in on Pickens.
First time all year we've got to talk about an early sub in matches that we have seen for the Indy 11. Both teams have the full complement of 3 subs available if needed. Some of them. And there has been a change, though, to start the half, however, by Nashville, as David Edgar will be brought on to replace Liam Doyle. And that is a name certainly of note. Edgar is from Canada, signed with the club last week, has spent time with the Vancouver Whitecaps, amongst others. He is a talented find for Gary Smith. They will make a defensive substitution, and Doyle picked up that yellow against Nathan Lewis. And in fact, we're going to get a quick word from Gary Smith right now. Coach, thanks for the time. We'll make this quick before the second half starts. Tell us about the move here to replace Doyle with Edgar to start half number 2.
Well, I just thought that Liam looked a little unsettled there. Mcinerney's done a great job of creating that first goal, and of course I just heard you say that the yellow card doesn't help at all. David's a vastly experienced individual, and we probably need a bit of guidance in that back line for this second period.
And just a quick thought on what that late goal means for you guys going into halftime, coming out here to start the half.
The game's back on. In fairness, Indy were far better than us in the first period, and that gives us a lifeline, and I hope the guys grasp it with both hands.
Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it. Gary Smith, head coach of Nashville SC. That halftime interview presented by Turkish Airlines, official international airline of Indy 11 soccer. Turkish Airlines, widen your world.
Yeah, I think brilliant points he made, and a brilliant move in the substitution. I think it's the right play. You know, Doyle's a heck of a defender, but you know that first goal is kind of on him. And then you look at the yellow card he picked up, and how often have you seen him in that first half matched up against Lewis? And so, you know, you got a defender who's finding himself against a player who's got unbelievable pace, who's sitting on a yellow card. Don't put your team in a position where you're going to go a man down and try and fight back.
By the way, Edgar has also spent time at Newcastle, Burnley, Swans, Birmingham, Huddersfield Town, Sheffield United. So yes, his last club that he played with, the Vancouver Whitecaps, but the majority of his experience has been in the Premier League or in the Championship.
It's a heck of a pickup.
He was signed 10 days ago. Throw in coming here. Ryan James, first time we've mentioned his name in today's match.
And you think about that pickup of Edgar, you've already got Kimura, Davis, Pickens as far as veteran leaders on the back line. Now you add another guy with that resume.
As we have said in this broadcast before, much of the same things we say about the Indy 11, we say about Nashville SC in terms of finding great pieces, adding quality depth. Each of these two teams' first year in the league. This is the first year that Nashville, this organization, has fielded a professional side. They had played in the NPSL for 3 years and then the PDL last year. And of course, they're on their way in the very near future to Major League Soccer. Another foul called 8th against the Indy 11. We haven't talked much about kind of the formation for Nashville SC today, and we saw Gary coach with the Atlanta Silverbacks 3 years ago, and they were one of the first teams that at that time in our couple of years with the Indy 11 that they went to a 3-5-2 that could become a 5-3-2. We'll finish that thought in a moment. Pasher the steal. Pasher sends it across, and Pickens.
Whoa.
I don't think he thought that was going to be a shot on goal. It ends up being a scary moment and a corner coming for the Indy 11.
I tell you, the pace and the speed of Tyler Pasher, if you make a mistake on the back line and he is in position, you're gonna have to defend the box.
If that ball had been inside the post, I think that would have been an own goal. I think that was off pocket Yode. Yeah. Saad looking for the assist to go with his 2 goals. It'll be yet another corner, and again Saad will stay camped out in that far side corner. Bourgeois, the player that got there first for Nashville SC.
That's one of the things that you love about having a tool in your toolbox of a guy that can be dangerous on dead balls and restarts.
Bourgeois again got there first. Matern has a go at it, looking for his first Indy 11 goal. Pickens on the restart. Select is the official soccer ball of the USL. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit SelectSportAmerica.com and receive free shipping on orders over $50. In this first half, blew the previous offensive stats out of the water for the Indy 11. But we'll repeat it here since we're in half number 2. The Indy 11 have yet to score, nor have yet to concede a second half goal this season.
Because you look at the pace that Nashville's playing with right now, they're pressing every back pass. They've pushed their front line a little bit higher, trying to capitalize still on that momentum and that energy that they went into the half with.
Nashville has got points from 3 consecutive matches, a 0-0 draw, and then back-to-back wins. as Russell will simply sky it towards the stands. Indy 11 looking to win their third match in their first 4 and continue their best ever start in franchise history. Mater, right idea on the ball, just didn't dial up the accuracy he was looking for, trying to locate Nathan Lewis. Trying the long distance ball here too, but this one headed for the end zone. A touchback, if you will. Goal kick coming. This Sports the Match presented by Community Health Sports Medicine, keeping athletes at the top of their game. Visit ecommunity.com/sports. Pasher again providing a little skip in the heartbeat of Pickens, but able to claim it in plenty of time.
Gutsy ball by James. I mean, you know, you got Pasher breathing down your neck, and Mcinerney also with good pace up top, and you're trusting that Pickens is going to pop out and be able to pick that ball up.
As I look at those on the attack for the Indy 11, they're all in their mid-20s. Steinberger, Pasher, Mcinerney, Sod.
Imagine if you can keep them together for a few years.
Mcinerney and Sod will turn 26 in August. Steinberger thinks at about 24, 25. He's 3 years removed from his college soccer days. Pasher turns 24 in 2 weeks. Yet they're all veterans at this point. This is the third professional season, or fourth rather, for Zack Steinberger. Steinberger played for the Indy 11 on loan from the Houston Dynamo in 2015. That's spent the last 2 years with the Jacksonville Armada. Potent and pacey, the way to describe the front 4 or 5 players right now for the Indy 11. Ring and Mitchell combined to close down Papa Mensah, the goal scorer for Nashville SC. And Nashville has 2 subs remaining. Indy has all 3. Amongst those that could be selected for the Indy 11, Matt Watson normally wears the captain's armband. Picked up a slight knock in training this week, so I think he'd be available for limited minutes if need be. Others include Juan Guerra, Ben Spies, and Justin Braun. Mitchell again there to make the play, and from a short sample size to me, this is the best we have seen Mitchell in his 4 games with the Indy 11.
He's been great. You know, there's a little bit of concern right now in the fact that they're finding Moloto and Mensah fairly easily, whether it's over the top or a ball in the feet. It's too dangerous of players to continue to give that up.
Iose working forward a little bit here. And the foul will help kind of reset the field balance for the Indy 11. It's been a while since we've had a one-namer for the Indy 11. Go back to Cleverson and Julian.
Rake.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that was our first one-namer right there.
I was going to go with Cleverson as kind of the more high-ticket signing, but
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I think when you were signed, that the season ticket sales just exploded.
I do have a lot of family in town. Yode working his way through the midfield. And a little more space to operate right now for Nashville SC. Russell will volley that ball back to midfield. The Sports of the Match brought to us by the Denny Companies, tearing down the past so you can build the future. And a foul given just outside of the 18. Lewis draws the whistle. And a good look on goal here coming for Nashville SC. was the dynamic young talent and Wynn that drew that. Well, this is a scenario that this young franchise in Nashville has not dealt with, trying to come back from a 2-goal deficit. And they lost 2-0 in their first ever match at Louisville City 4 weeks ago. They have not trailed since that time. 3-man wall for Indy.
It's a dangerous spot here. A lot of things are on the table.
4 inside of the box. Ball curled in, headed down, and waiting on the back post was Edgar. Goal kick coming. He was being marked by Russin. Edgar trying to score a goal in his Nashville SC debut. Giveaway. Quickly recovered by Usl. And Mcinerney sends a Nashville player to the turf. Seems like with every goal scored by the Indy 11, Nashville kind of ratcheted up their intensity after the first goal. Then again after the second goal, they've maintained that level from the end of the first half. Good settle by Mcinerney. And won it right back from Davis. Lewis. Looking for his first goal in an Indy 11 uniform. Tough angle that time for Lewis.
And I like Nico sitting a little bit deeper right now, providing some help to Russin and Mitchell, and giving a little bit more pressure, giving a little smaller channel to be able to get the ball into Nashville's targets.
Lewis was not available to the Indy 11 first match of the season. He was on international duty for Trinidad and Tobago. But he has fit seamlessly into this lineup over the last couple of weeks. Good looking run going here. And it's Taylor Washington who plays it in. Mitchell got to head to it first. Ring gets there next. And we have seen Bradrick for so many years play taller than his listed height.
Oh, that's a great ball.
Saad will flick it forward. Lewis showing off the skill set.
Wow. A little too much. A little too much. Beat that first guy after that incredible move, and then move the ball. And Nashville's throwing so much forward right now that those counter opportunities are going to be there. It was good to see the 11, look to exploit it and take it quickly, as opposed to slow things down and let Nashville recover.
Jose takes the bump to shield the attacking player away from it. By the way, this segment of the match is brought to us by the Root Place. Get it all at the Root Place. Jose, good read. Has Pasher to his left. Saad to his right. Going back post for Mcinerney.
Wow. To see it. To see the run. And then to be able to deliver a ball that can beat the defenders and give you a chance back post. Incredible vision.
Already has 1 assist in today's game, does Jose, from his left back spot. And not on a set piece, folks. We saw that a lot the last couple years with Nemanja Vukovic on plays like that. No, that was in the run of play. And Matt Pickens waiting on somebody. And as has been the case throughout the match, seemingly, Carlisle Mitchell knows exactly where that's going. Once again, Jose Dials it up properly to Pasher, just couldn't trap it the way he wanted to. Fans, you can hear exclusive stories directly from the USL's players and USLsoccer.com's From the Pitch with written and video content that provides unfiltered access and a first-person look into the professional game and players' everyday lives. That's at USLsoccer.com. So through 15 minutes of half number 2. No score here in the second half. Indy 11 looking for their first home win of the season. Last year it took until mid-June for their first home win. Then again in 2014 it took until October. Brickyard Battalion in full song as we speak. And a foul given. And Steinberger draws the ire of the official. Looks like he will not be booked for said infraction. Told anything else he will be, but not on that one. As Wynn goes to the turf. Wynn just 23 years of age.
Kid's got some pace too.
Played in one of the great soccer programs in the nation at the University of North Carolina. Indy native Cam Lindley just played there for the last 2 years and now is playing with Orlando City in Major League Soccer. And Edgar could not get his feet set. Gave a thumb up for the ball as a right idea. Just again, having not played that much the last couple of years, he's still kind of, the talent's there, you know that.
So Nashville is spending a lot of energy right now. They've moved their lines higher. They're chasing down balls across the back line. They're chasing down balls in the midfield. It's going to be interesting to see how long they can maintain this pace before it starts taking a toll. Now, if they get the equalizer, if they're spending this energy to get the equalizer, they'll find the energy to finish the match. But when you're unrewarded, it becomes tougher and tougher to grind out those later minutes.
Possession was in favor of Indy by a 55-45 margin in half number 1. That number has largely been reversed here in half number 2. Great ball.
Good touch. Washington
slides it. Williams is there.
Great save.
It was Wynn looking for his second goal in as many matches. But Owan found Williams up to the challenge.
That's a great hit. That ball has a chance to go in. You've got the defender set up as a screen, and that's an equally great save.
And again, for the possession being in favor of Nashville here in this half, we haven't called Williams' name all that much. Now here's Sunni Sai. Lewis to his right. Steinberger and Mcinerney join the attack. And Lewis tried to draw the foul, is waved up, said nope, not that time. He drew a call earlier in the first half, didn't get it the second time around.
But there is no question he has the green light every time he's isolated with a back.
Washington wants that ball. Finds him, but nowhere close to being on frame. Great recognition. Washington put his hand up, and from 50 yards away, that ball was to him in a second.
It's a fantastic serve. You got to make sure you keep checking your rearview mirror there. Both Williams and Iose cannot let them sneak a ball into that back post.
This portion of the match is presented by Honda Manufacturers of Indiana, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Fawn Williams being told to speed up play a little bit. We talked to Owan for Soccer Saturday this week. I knew our weather had become really poor in central Indiana for late March, early April, when someone from Wales that has played professionally in Scotland and England was complaining about how bad our weather had been locally in Indianapolis. I frankly didn't need his confirmation. I knew it myself. Great the last 2 or 3 days. Forecast was for rain most of the day today, and that has been the case. Although thankfully, cross our fingers, most of the stronger stuff has headed south of Indianapolis. With the weather conditions coming in, one of the days that makes you appreciate knowing It's 70 degrees. We're going to kick off on time, playing in the great indoors of Lucas Oil Stadium. Now Lewis. He and Saad not on the same page that time, but the ball finds Nico Mattern quickly. And trying to spring Pasher. And Pasher, you can see on your screen, even though he's getting the ball, he loves the thought from Nico Mattern.
Yep. Give me a chance. Give me a chance. Put it in there. Let me chase it down. You know, when you got a weapon like the pace and the engine that Pasher has, you're just give me a ball. Just let me run onto a ball.
How about that steer by Ring? It was with enough pace and so on target. I think it caught Lewis by surprise and it found him that quickly. Ring appeared in the first 2 games of the season as a sub. But with the injury to Reiner Ferreira and then the red card that followed to Carl Wimet, Ring has found a home as a starter each of the last 2 games. And 10 players that entered today's game, having played in all 3 matches on the season. And Russin now will go to the turf. And frankly, that's an area where the Indy 11 do not have much in the way of depth because of the players I just mentioned being out. The only defensive player listed in the available subs for the Indy 11 is Seth Moses. We have not seen Seth play this year. Seth played last year for Puerto Rico FC in the NASL. But no Wimet today, no Ferreira today. And if Russin can't go, you would assume that it'd be Moses' name that would be called. It looks like it's a right foot that is giving Russin a problem. He had a knee issue last year. You're going to see Matt Watson. He could come on and play a little center back if necessary.
Yeah, I think when you got veteran players, you know, whether it's Brad Ring or Pasher's coming up on 80 games in this league, Matt Watson, you've got guys that you can interchange. I mean, the decisions that you have to make position by position, time in the game, score, all that kind of stuff changes. But if you've got a high enough soccer IQ, you can interchange these pieces if you've got some veteran guys.
It's not going to be for Russin, however, though. This is going to be for Nathan Lewis. So Lewis will exit. Watson will re-enter, and frankly, this is a defense for offensive substitution. This is adding another more of a holding midfielder, putting another guy behind the ball, trying to protect that 2-1 lead if you're head coach Martin Rennie.
And you could see it a little bit. I mean, the touch, the ball was getting away from Nathan a little bit here in this. He spent so much energy in that first half chasing down balls that, maybe there's not enough gas in the tank to be as sharp as you need him to be. And now you're bringing a guy like Matt Watson, you can hold the center of the field a little bit better now.
So normally wearing the captain's armband, that remains on Bradrick. Watson, the oldest player on the Indy 11 from England, but has spent the last 14 years playing here in North America. Whether it was 1 year of college soccer or many years as a pro, played for Coach Rennie with both the Vancouver Whitecaps and with the then Carolina Railhawks. Spent last year with Phoenix.
Was actually thinking, maybe it's time to hang it up and get into coaching. Coach Rennie got the job, and when he's got the respect he does for Matt Watson, he gives him a call and says, I need you out here.
Soony Saad couldn't slide it past the Nashville defender. Good recovery by Indy defensively. Great pressure by Steinberger. Now can give and go with Saad. Steinberger's pass just not strong enough. Offside flag goes up when Mensah comes back to play the ball. Fans, you can download the official Indy 11 app now to be the first to receive breaking team news and highlights. Available on the app stores for Apple and Android devices. I mentioned this earlier. Russin, the native of Crown Point, Indiana, did head out to the IMG Academy to play some of his youth soccer before making his way to the professional ranks. And much like my broadcast partner, spent part of his professional days playing in Denmark.
Koya is how it's pronounced. is the city he was in.
Or as I refer to it, Denmark.
And we talked about all sorts of different Danish delicacies.
And that's going to be a foul and a card given to Usl. And again, he was stopping a scoring opportunity. He understands. He'll take the yellow. Well, Wynn hasn't had that moment on goal yet.
No,
he has been all over the midfield.
Yeah. And that was a clever turn. I mean, he was able to separate.
Wise beyond his years is Wynn. Goals for Sunnyside coming both within the first 35 minutes. Ropapa Mensah just before halftime. No score here in half number 2. Mensah looking to make the turn. Mitchell up for the challenge. And eventually Steinberger to Mcinerney. Again, great pressure applied, but it'll be a throw-in coming for the Indy 11. This portion of the match presented by Turkish Airlines. Widen your world. Both teams with 2 remaining substitutions. And frankly, you're playing in perfect weather conditions in here. Both teams have been kind of in Saturday-only mode until this weekend.
Good touch.
I'm not sure you'll see the teams make all 3 substitutions. Pasher now playing on the opposite side, playing on that right wing. Well done by Nashville to avoid the corner. A quick restart coming from Pasher. Now Ring sizing up his options. Steinberger. Good slide to Pasher. And Pasher went to the turf, looking for a call, and now given by the assistant referee. Took a while, flag went up. And from just outside of the 18. Set piece opportunity for the Indy 11. And Davis didn't get him with the feet, but ruled that right arm just enough. And Pasher continues to play wise beyond his years at just the age of 23. He spent time as a junior training with Newcastle and then spent time with Toronto FC before embarking on his professional career.
This is a critical moment right here. With the amount of energy that Nashville has spent to try and get back into this game, if they give one up here, it's going to be difficult for them to see this thing out.
Russin, Mitchell amongst the targets. Pasher might have been going upper 90 of his own volition. Steered up and over the bar by a Nashville player. Corner kick coming from the opposite side. Another look at it here. It was Usl, excuse me, not Pasher. Identified the wrong left foot. My apologies. Sunnyside sends it in, looking back post.
Good ball.
It eventually caromed off of Mcinerney. I'm not sure he really had a chance to put a boot to it, to be honest with you. And it fell harmlessly to Matt Pickens.
Had 2 players making that run, and I think if there's only one, you know, there's not that thought that's in your head about is it mine, is it yours?
Mensah tracked by Mcinerney immediately. But Mcinerney was playing at the NAIA level just a handful of months ago. Playing at Indiana Wesleyan. First time we've had an Indiana Wesleyan alum playing for the Indy 11, and now the club's 5-year history. We've got IU and Butler alums currently on the team, and Brad Ring in Zack Steinberger. For standings, stats, and all the latest league news, be sure to visit uslsoccer.com. We've had an IUPUI alum on the team, a couple of them in fact, namely Kyle Hyland, still playing in the USL with OKC Energy FC. Sockers win yet again. Only first time we've called Watson's name since he subbed in. And well done by Bourgeois. Russin up to the challenge. And will rather easily boot this ball about 60 yards down the field.
So it'll be interesting to see if Nashville looks to bring some fresh legs in. Maybe throw another player forward.
Throw in coming here for the Indy 11. Nashville is about to make their second substitution of the game. It's going to be Tucker Hume. Opportunity here. The touch by Watson. Watson working his way through.
Finish.
Pasher couldn't get it to go, and on the carom, it will be a corner coming.
Boy, there was not the space there to do what just happened.
Watson with some veteran maneuvering.
Incredible. Incredible.
Just kept matriculating the ball down the field, if you will, here in this football venue.
Don't know what that means.
Means he did this. Somehow the ball kept going in the right direction. Pasher could not clear the 3-car pileup outside of the 6.
And just enough of Matt Pickens in there to close the door on it.
Pickens had made 10 saves on the season coming into today's game. Steered towards the sidelines, and a throw-in coming for the Indy 11. Nashville in short order will make a pair of substitutions. We reference Hume getting ready to enter the fray. They'll make their substitution simultaneously, will Nashville SC. We'll get you the second player here in a matter of moments.
And that's a veteran coaching move. Rather than have 2 substitutions, which might take 20, 30 seconds off as you make them, and get them done at the same time. Get those fresh legs in there.
It'll be Robin Schrute will be the other player that will enter for Nashville SC. That will be in the next stoppage in play. Still 2 subs available for Mcinerney in the Indy 11. This is David Edgar. Well done by Pasher. And we'll stop right now for the substitution. So Hume will enter. He spent last year with the Ottawa Fury. And also Robin Schrute. He is originally from England. Last played professionally in Norway. So Wynn will exit. Very impressive for Nashville. And you were telling me this earlier. The player that is subbing in for him was his college roommate.
Can you believe that? And they go in different directions and wind up the same place.
Lebo Moloto will exit for Nashville. So their 3 subs are done for the day. Here in minute number 79. Akinyode. Well defended by Zack Steinberger. And Ring doesn't want any part of walking those through the minefields in midfield. Just boots it to the other end.
And with the amount of force that Nashville is going to press forward right now, there's going to be some counter opportunities for the 11. And when you look at the pace that Saad, McInerney, Pasher, and Steinberger are playing with, they have not lost a step right now here in the 79th minute of the match.
Fans, ESPN Plus is the new streaming home of the USL in the United States. Watch all the action through the 2018 regular season and USL Cup playoffs, and that starts today. Visit USLsoccer.com for more details. Well, the Indy 11 are going to add some more pace with their next substitution. Justin Braun will be entering for the Indy 11. Pasher
what a ball.
Finds the ball, trying to find a window of space. Pickens closes said window. I think Pasher had eyes for getting that ball a little further towards the back post.
He did, and Matt Watson was making a great overlapping run. If Pasher would have picked that up, that could have been a little takeover, giving Watson a clear path into the front post.
Take another look at the last opportunity on goal for the Indy 11. We watch Pasher here. Iose with an outstanding run going for the Indy 11.
And you look at it, Tyler's just backing up, giving himself some more space. If they can find that, it's the ball right there.
Pasher just parked in that opposite corner. We have seen him dominate the left side of the pitch for the Indy 11 so far this season. When Watson came in, he bumped out to the right side, basically taking Nathan Lewis's spot, allowing Watson to play more of a central midfielder role. By the way, when Braun enters, it'll be replacing Jack Mcinerney. Good job by Mattern to settle and find the right outlet. The safety play to Bradrick. Pasher couldn't win that ball away from 3 different defenders. Mensa had a stoppage time goal last week. Indy 11 hoping for not exactly a repeat of that. Ring got just enough of a boot in the way to allow Pasher to track that down. Saad giving chase. Pickens had just the right piece of real estate carved out. So it appears we will see our second substitution coming in here for the Indy 11, and it will be Justin Braun. So Braun, who got his first start of the season last week with Mcinerney out for disciplinary reasons, as issued by the USL. He'll replace Mcinerney here. So Braun now has played in all 4 matches this season, had an assist on the goal last week, looking for his first goal this year after having 8 goals in basically half a season last year. Justin, the second all-time leading scorer in Indy 11 history, replaces Jack Mcinerney, and Mcinerney no goal but an assist today. And I thought Mcinerney was his typical solid self this afternoon.
Great performance. And this is a great sub. You're bringing in fresh legs on a guy who runs constantly, pressures everything, and he's going to be going up against a back line that is going to be pressing forward to try and get the equalizer.
Watson got clobbered. So Watson, who just came in.
And I think Akinyoti's already on a yellow, and that was a shot to the head.
And that's what the Indy 11 are asking for. Well, the cards in the first half do belong to Akinyoti and Doyle. Doyle was already subbed out. But we've seen no indication of a card to be shown here in this situation, which would then put Nashville a man down.
But Iose has been impressive today.
We saw a rather lengthy injury stoppage last because of Nathan Lewis, and it is because, again, you always have that concern of a head injury. So a similar situation here for Matt Watson. And it wasn't Akinyoti, it was Bourgeois. But again, it appears no card will be shown for the infraction. So Watson will have to exit momentarily and will be allowed to return. Our final moments of this match plus stoppage time, presented by your Central Indiana Honda Dealers, official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. Indy does have 1 substitution if they feel they need it here.
And that, unless somebody's calling for it, that may be one you just want to keep in your hip pocket, just in case.
They're playing a man down, and I believe they're basically telling Watson, no, I think you're done for the day. I think they're going to give him the opportunity.
Hey, he's coming off. He had a smile on his face. Gave the thumbs up. You thought he was going back in.
But when it comes to a head injury, the player's not allowed to make that call. It's the doctor, it's the trainer that make that call. And with that, Juan Guerra quickly moved towards the bench. And again, an example of the depth that this team has. But right now they're playing a man down. Can Nashville take advantage? Offside flag goes up for Opapa-Mensah. But Watson apparently has convinced the trainer, hey, I'm fine, put me back in, and races forward. And Guerra's a guy that was an offseason signing that we thought, hey, this could be a difference maker for this team. I think eventually he will be. He had a fantastic year last year for the New York Cosmos, and there's been such quality in midfield. Juan has barely seen the field so far this year.
And when you talk to these guys, they all buy into it. They all signed up for that. You talk to guys like Russell, 10-year vet, and say, okay, what happens when you've got 8 guys that can start on the back line? There's only 4 starting spots.
Bourgeois can't keep that ball in play.
We're here to win, whatever it takes to win.
And the speed of Pasher is such a difference maker for this team. Wherever he is on the field, it's an advantage.
Causes problems, and it's not just speed. He's got a touch. He's got a high IQ. He's got the ability to beat guys off the dribble. He's not just a pacey player.
Offside position with that ball. Karam to Pasher. There really was no late drama the last time Indy 11 were here 2 weeks ago. They frankly, given a 2-1 lead, are hoping to avoid late drama in this one. The Indy 11, the man that puts his mitts in the ball right there, and Owain Von Williams salvaged 3 points with a PK save against North Carolina last week. Nashville didn't affect the outcome of the match. They did score after the 90th minute a week ago in a 2-0 victory against the Charlotte Independents. And that'll be a foul on Russin. So a chance to set up a set piece here. Hume draws the foul.
Dangerous, dangerous spot. They're pushing everybody up.
Reed stands over it, as does Davis. 2 of the more veteran players on this young team. By the way, the official attendance for today's match, 10,188 here at Lucas Oil Stadium. And while that was not the crowd of 2 weeks ago against Cincinnati, it's a lot more than it would have been had we been playing outside today. It's Reed. It's back post. And volleyed away. Steinberger. Normally in the goal scoring business, that time in the goal preventing business. That was about a 60-yard clearance from a guy that's normally a midfielder. Von Williams calling off his defenders.
Just enough from Russin. Just enough to make Mensah change his path a bit.
Well, the guys that play the center back position for this team, not just those that are healthy today, Russin is the most physically imposing of that group. Much like we saw when this team had championship success 2 years ago in the North American Soccer League. That team really had a 3-man rotation at center back in terms of Janicki and Miller and Colin Falvey. There might be as many as a 4-man rotation of this group, with Russin, Ouimet, Ferreira, and Carlisle Mitchell. Although Ouimet can also slide out and play a right back or a left back when needed. Final substitution coming on here for the Indy 11. We will see Juan Guerra, but it'll be for Zack Steinberger. Another outstanding effort by Steinberger today. So Juan Guerra will make his second appearance of the season. Juan is originally from Venezuela, but played his college soccer at Florida International University. And before playing for the Cosmos, spent time with the Tampa Bay Rowdies. So all 3 subs been used for both teams. And by the way, additional time, 5 minutes worth. So a lot of opportunity here for Nashville SC. As the Indy 11 trying to claim the full 3. Inside of the 18, and again, not much traffic in front of Williams, and he'll, like a good veteran does, don't catch it, let it go to the ball kid. And then Mensah sportingly offers to go get it for him and place it on the line. Very friendly gesture.
That is, save Williams the run, save his legs.
Fans, you can have your say on who becomes the USL Player of the Month for March, when which players earn Goal of the Month and Save of the Month awards. Cast your vote this weekend at uslsoccer.com. As you'd expect, the restart's quite quick for Nashville SC.
And the one thing the 11 have to stay away from right now is any kind of restart. Don't give free looks at the goal. Don't give free opportunities. Don't let them put 8, 9 guys inside the box.
One of the things that some of the Indy 11 players have talked about coming into this match in terms of having not scored more than 2 goals on the season so far up until this first half was, hey, we've rushed some opportunities in front of net. And that kind of rings true for Nashville today. They've had some good looks that once the shot was taken, were nowhere close to Owen Fon Williams.
Yeah, you look at that ball late in the first half that was tucked. Boy, I forget who it was tucked over. Might have been Mitchell. That Mensah gets on the other end of and is really walking in on Williams and just hits a ball that he bends, 5, 10 yards off goal. Whereas if he takes another touch, he's walking in.
Braun draws the whistle. We have talked so much about the depth of this team. It has paid off because of minor injuries. We've had Mcinerney and Wement that have missed matches because of a red card, because of a later ruling by the USL. That depth it's already showed through just 4 matches. But once you get to May, you start getting into these twice in 4 and 5 day, stretches. That depth will pay off even further at that time. Saad able to keep that ball in play. Braun, nice lead for Watson. Watson inside of the 18, drawing 3 defenders. Somehow wins it back yet again.
Wow.
A little past halfway through added time. 2 minutes left to go for Indy 11. Looking to claim that first home victory of the season. First home victory in this building. Indy 11 have never won their home opener in their 5-year existence. Trying to match the team did a couple of years ago and win their second home match of the season.
You look at this roster for Nashville, and you know this is going to be a team that's going to be there in the end. So this is an important 3 points.
These 2 teams will meet up again late June, a midweek match in Nashville. Good clearance by Watson. Down to a minute left to go of added time.
It's probably one more good look. They probably can get one more good look.
Great job
Good
by
read.
Mitchell. We are planning on speaking to Carlisle during the post-game show. I think his defensive work has been outstanding today. And Saad nor Braun are exactly in a big hurry to hit the reset button here. We talk about the young veterans on this team. some veteran time wasting going on. And Braun not going for goal. He's going to the corner. Couldn't maintain possession there.
It was well defended. He could have seen the game out on that.
One of the rare balls that Mitchell did not win today. One last look that Mcinerney knocks away. Volley towards midfield.
There you go.
That's it, and that's all. A first home win for the Indy 11 in Lucas Oil Stadium. And they continue their best ever start in franchise history. 9 points out of a possible 12. The coaches exchange handshakes. 3 points go the way of the Indy 11. Final score, what it was at halftime. Indy 11-2, Nashville SC 1.
Great result. Great result against a very good team. You blinked for a moment there at the end of the first half. Momentum switched a little bit. You saw the energy that it gave Nashville both in closing out the first half and in that first 20 minutes of the second half. Indy was under the gun. Nashville was all over them. They withstood that, maintained a little bit of possession, broke that energy, and were able to see the game out.
Heading into the bye week, the Indy 11 carrying momentum. Final thoughts on this when we come back here on My Indy TV. Indy 11 Soccer, presented by Community Health. Dream big, work hard, finish strong. Community Sports Medicine, official sports medicine provider of the Indy 11. And by Honda, proud to be the official automotive sponsor of the Indy 11. By Turkish Airlines, widen your world. And by The Room Place, get it all at The Room Place. The Indy 11 will not be back at their new home for some 17 days. May 2nd, the next time they will play here again against FC Cincinnati, one of the league favorites. But frankly, how the Indy 11 have played, they should be one of the league favorites too. They've now got 9 points out of a possible 12, 3 wins in their first 4. They now go to some time off, at least from a match perspective. Here's a look at the final stats. And again, possession in half number 2, Brad, tilted in favor of Nashville.
Significantly, too, because it was slanted the other way at the end of the first half. But I think a lot of that came from, Nashville's desire to try and push the game and enforce the game, and Indy, really trying to ride it out, see if they couldn't withstand that energy and that pressure. And then, a couple times too, it's just clearing the ball, letting yourself regroup rather than keep it around the box.
The Indy 11 off next weekend. The next time they play will be in 14 days when they take on the Charlotte Independents. For Nashville SC, they are off as well. They will take on Penn FC in 10 days. Stay tuned. The Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show when we come back from this break. We'll lead things off with the head coach of the Indy 11 in Mcinerney. His team gets the home 3 points for the first time this season. Your final score from Lucas Oil Stadium: Indy 11-2 and Nashville SC 1. A happy Brickyard Battalion, a happy Indy 11 fan base, and certainly a happy addition to the Central Indiana Honda Dealers post-game show. Alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakestraw with you. Let's go right to the field. We're standing by as the head coach of the Indy 11 in Mcinerney. Coach, congratulations. How does it feel to get the first Indy 11 win in Lucas Oil Stadium?
Yeah, it feels good. It was a good win for us. Nashville are a strong team. They've had a good start to the season. So I think it was an excellent first half performance from us. I think in the second half we managed the game reasonably well. We didn't give up too many chances, but I thought that in the first half we played very well, apart from that last minute. And I feel if we'd maybe the last 2 or 3 minutes, if we'd kept our tempo up and been tracking a little better in midfield, the game could have been more comfortable. But I was very pleased with how we played, and I think it's always a big thing to get the first win at home because it takes that weight off your shoulders, and then I think it builds confidence as well.
Well, you and I have had this conversation kind of both on air and on radio as well. It's a home field advantage because it's a unique playing environment. It's a home field advantage because you have great fans. But you still have to learn how to play in this building. What was different in terms of how you play, maybe from a style standpoint or a tactic standpoint, say from the second game going back to the first one 2 weeks ago?
I think there was much better shape in our attack. I think we opened the game up quite well. We possessed the ball well in midfield, and I thought that we created some pretty good opportunities. I think that the opponent did a good job of pressing, but that did leave some space for us in other areas, and we took advantage of that. So I just think it's not just getting used to the field, it's getting used to each other, it's getting used to being a team. We're still in our infancy really as a group, but we are getting results, and we are putting together more and more phases within the game which are very good. So obviously over time you want to have those phases lasting for longer and coming more often, but in any game there'll be points in the game where you have to defend or you have to dig things out, and we did both of those things well today.
You talk about the space that's available and then taking advantage of it, and you look from early on, certainly with the first goal with Saad and the balls in and behind the back line with Lewis and Pasher. Was this something you saw on film where they were going to play a high back line, or was it something that the guys just recognized in the moment and were able to take advantage of?
Yeah, there was things that we saw there, but you know, Nashville in their last couple of games have got good results by pressing a little bit higher and a little bit harder, so we felt that if we managed to play through that first initial pressure there might be some space, and then it was up to us to use it. And I thought the first goal, especially the ball from Ayoze in behind and the run from Suni Saad from that deeper position, I thought that was a really, really good goal, a composed finish, and was a lot of the things we've been working on.
And going back to Suni Saad, I think one of the aspects of his game that may be overlooked is because of his athletic gifts on the field, on restarts, on corner kicks, on dead balls, he's so dangerous. He gives you guys a chance on every single ball. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that one of the most important things when you're building a team is to try and have players in the team who are a threat to the opposition. I think today you could see there was a threat from Suni Saad, there was a threat from Jack Mcinerney, we had the same from Pasha, we had the same from Lewis. So at this level, if there's 4 players that are a threat like that, that's difficult for any team. And then we've got players like Ben Spies, like Justin Braun, like Sterikov and others who I'm sure I'm not mentioning or forgetting, who are also a threat to the opponent. So that means if you can defend well, if you can pass the ball well, keep good possession, these guys then will come to life, and that's what we saw in moments today.
Well, we have talked about depth at every position. You just talked about it as far as attackers and midfielders. Let's go to center backs. You don't have Carl Lamette today. You don't have Reiner Ferreira today. Your thoughts about the job that Carlisle Mitchell and Brad Russin did for you this afternoon?
I think they did a great job. I think we didn't really look under much trouble at all. There was that little spell I mentioned in the end of the first half. That was more down to shaping the midfield, not the defenders. You know, I know both of those guys. I know their character. I know their ability. I'm very glad to have them, and you can see why. I think, you know, Russin's a guy who had probably not played that much in the last couple of years for different reasons. He had some knocks and then was just out of the lineup in Miami because they got on a run and kept their team the same. But he looked like he hadn't been out and did a great job, and that was important for us today.
All right, what does training look like next week for your team, knowing there's no game coming up on Saturday?
Well, hopefully a chance to, and hopefully we can start to get these other guys back, because when we come back, we've got 3 games in a week. So this week we'll continue just working on our game model, keeping on improving the things that we want to improve upon. We've got lots of work to do, we know that. But we did see some signs today that this team's going to be a good team, and is a good team, but it's a team that can get better and better, so we have to work hard in training to make sure that happens. Last week in training was probably the best week of training that I've seen, and so that's the standard now that I expect. And if we can do that, then I think we'll be looking good when the games come around again.
Hey, again, Martin, congratulations. Go enjoy the victory.
Thank you.
Mcinerney, head coach of the Indy 11, joining us again, and that's good to hear. You know, this team, again, is still so young in terms of you brought everybody together the second week of February, so you're really right at the 2-month mark of these guys training together and playing together. It doesn't look like that when you watch them play.
No, and, you know, Nashville, while you could say, hey, you're kind of in that same category, you know, Coach Smith was appointed about 12 months ago. So philosophically, you know, Nashville has had an identity and a thought and a direction on what they want to do as far as assembling players, and they've had the time to get players. I think with Indy, with everything coming together a little bit late as far as understanding what league you're going to be in, the appointment of Coach Rennie, and then to be able to put together a quality lineup and have the depth that you have when you are really limited to the guys that are not on contract anywhere.
Let's talk about the guy that put a pair of goals in the back of the net. It was a first-half brace for Suni Saad, who joins us now. Suni, congratulations. You've been playing awfully well through 3 weeks. What's it like to see it pay off with a pair of goals here in week number 4?
Thank you. Ultimately, the most important thing today was 3 points at home to get our first win and to play a complete game. I thought we did that, and I was fortunate to get on the score sheet.
So you looked at Nashville's high back line, and you take a look at your first goal. Something in sync between you and Iose? Did you recognize something with Doyle that you might be able to get through? Or you didn't break stride. Doyle tried to get the ball. What was it that you saw in that play that made you just continue to run?
It's just some pattern play that we work on. I don't think it was just me and Iose. It was Jack Mcinerney. His run opened my run up, and as soon as I saw Jack check in, I took his space, and Aozi played the ball, perfect ball, but without Jack's checking run, I wouldn't have been able to go into that space and expose them.
While you were answering Brad's question, we were replaying both of your goals, and on the second one, I think you basically defied the laws of physics with the way that ball was able to move. Walk us through that play, and clearly you're never sure what spin's going to go on, and just kind of walk us through your mindset going into that long-distance shot.
I wasn't going to hit it. I really wasn't until Jack said, I'll tap it to you, and we'll go for it. I can strike a ball. I know that Jack can strike a ball. So it's something that we kind of work on a little bit in training, and I was fortunate to get the spin. I'd like to strike the ball that way, and I think if you watch the goal back, the most important thing was I used the defender that was charging as kind of a guide to go around him. So as soon as I did, the keeper didn't see the ball until late, and we were fortunate to go 2 goals up.
Yeah, I think he did get a look at it. The defender was a little bit late getting there and did provide a bit of a screen, but you had a veteran keeper going in the opposite direction on that ball. So, yes, the screen was there, but it was also an incredibly well-hit ball.
Thank you.
Speaking of balls that are well-struck, you look at the corner kicks, you look at the restarts that you take, you give your team a chance on every single one of them. Is there a spot you're looking for? Is there a player you're looking for? Or what is it that goes through your mind as you're approaching that ball?
We're lucky to have towers for center backs with Brad and Carlisle Mitchell. But all the other guys make decent runs, and they make it easy for me to just put a ball into the area. Most important thing is to put it with pace so that the other team's not able to adjust really fast. But when you have guys that help you like the guys that we have, it's kind of easy.
Suni, congratulations. Go enjoy the victory.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Suni Saad joining us on the Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show. We referenced Brad Russin with Coach Mcinerney. He will join us when we come back as you're watching postgame coverage of Indy 11 soccer. Back inside Lucas Oil Stadium, the Indy 11 get the full 3 points this afternoon. Both goals coming in half number 1. But as they have all season long, they lock down opponents in half number 2. 2-1 the final score, Indy 11 over Nashville SC this afternoon. To get alongside Brad Hodder, Greg Rakesworthy, thank you for joining us on the Central Indiana Honda Dealers postgame show here on My Indy TV. Let's once again go back down to the sidelines where getting his first start of the season, Brad Russin joins us here in the postgame show. Brad, congratulations on the victory. Your thoughts on getting the full 3 points today?
Thank you. It was a hard-fought win. We started out well, played a good 43 minutes or so, and then we kind of let off the gas for a few minutes, and we were punished for that. So regrouped at halftime and came out strong and held it down back there. It wasn't easy. It was a grind, and it was good to come out with 3 points at home.
Trey Higdon on Indy11.com this week did a great job of kind of chronicling the comebacks that both you and Justin Braun are making from injury. Knowing what you've kind of gone through in terms of being a tough lineup to crack in Miami the last couple of years, dealing with injuries, what's it like to be back out there and contributing these last couple of weeks?
Today was, awesome. Just to be out there again and just enjoy playing. Since I've been here with Coach Martin, all the coaching staff, all the guys, just making it enjoyable, and I loved being out there today. And like I said, most importantly, we got 3 points, so it's a big one for us.
You can see the smile. You can see how much you love being out there.
I'm holding it in, but yeah, I want to just, it's awesome.
So when you look at it and battling back from injuries and then playing a full 90 out here, where do you think you are in the scheme of your game? A 90%? What's that level?
Yeah, I think, talking to the coaching staff, it was, obviously I wasn't really expected to play this early. They had, Carlisle and Rainier, and then Carl stepping in, and they've been doing well, and unfortunately a few injuries, and I found myself in there rather quickly. And like I said, they give me the confidence to step up, and today was the day. My name was called, and like I said, unfortunately for the other guys, it's they're out because of injury and suspension and stuff. So it's just the next man up for us. So today it was me, and along the year, it's going to be other guys as well. And
I talk about the challenges today with Mensah and Moloto, that, two pretty talented targets. What kind of challenges did they present to you guys?
Yeah, going in with Carlisle and I, the biggest thing was not being beat over the top. So we wanted to make sure we weren't beat over the top and then win headers and pick up the second ball. So as long as they weren't in behind us, I think we were fine. And you could see that today. Carlisle winning a bunch of headers, myself, and picking up second balls and breaking towards the goal. It was pretty effective today.
One of the constant themes you talk about, you've even talked about it as well, because of so many talented guys at that center back spot around you. There is depth at every position on this team. What does that make training sessions like? Just how competitive do practices get knowing there's so many quality players on this roster?
Yeah, it's great. You want to be at a club like that. You want to be challenged every day. It makes every player better. So every player on the pitch has to work hard every day in training, and at the end of the day, if Martin picks you got to step up in the game, and if you don't do your job, the next man up, like I said. So we got a great group of guys, and everyone, as long as everyone does their job and we play as a team, we'll be good.
Brad, go enjoy. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys.
Brad Russin, our guest, and that wraps up our player and coach guest for today's post-game show. Highlights and more come your way next on My Indy TV. Back at Lucas Oil Stadium, time for highlights now from today's match, and all the offensive ones coming from the first half, and all the goals coming from the right foot of Sunni Saad.
Oh, it's an incredible play. I'd say this ball here, and he talks about the space that Mcinerney created for him. That's one part of it, but there's two other pieces. He's got to make a run. He's got to recognize that space, and Iose's got to be able to deliver that ball.
Great delivery from Iose. Cool first touch for Saad to set himself up for the goal. Nashville SC would get one back late in the first half. Good combination play. Ropapa Mensah catches it.
Yeah, and frustrating as a coach to see this, because guys were a little clicked off as far as tracking their runs and being disciplined and being at the right angle. You know, the tip of the hat to them for being able to withstand that momentum shift and the energy that came from it.
But before Mensah had scored that goal, Saad scored this goal to give Indy 11 the cushion they would need.
I've been in goal and I've seen a ball come at you like that, and there's just a moment when it starts changing trajectory that you just go, oh, I'm done.
We're about done. Final thoughts when we come back. That'll do it for our match day coverage of Indy 11 soccer. They take home the full 3 points in this afternoon's victory over Nashville SC. Final score 2-1. The next time the Indy 11 take to the field will be in 2 weeks against the Charlotte Independents. That game you can catch on ESPN Plus with a 7 o'clock kickoff from Charlotte. Next time the Indy 11 are at home will be against FC Cincinnati, a Wednesday night match on May 2nd. Be sure to join us then on My Indy TV.